Hey everyone, this is SciLife here, and today I kind of want to go over the question of when will we have interstellar travel? Well, first, before I go over the main question, let's go over a very brief history of how our ancient civilizations looked at astronomy. Astronomical observations started in our most ancient observations, with the earliest known calendar being created around 8000 BCE. This calendar is known as the Warren Field Calendar, which is a Mesolithic monument which is actually located in present-day Scotland. It was used for providing an annual astronomical correction for the passage of time as indicated by the moon, the asynchronous solar year, and the associated seasons. This picture right here is a picture of people standing next to each part of the calendar. The second picture is a picture of what the calendar shows, and the third picture is a picture of the whole site. AKA, this is one of the first astronomical instruments to plot the solar system that we know of. And that's actually a huge freaking step. That was over 10,000 years ago. That trend actually continued with every single ancient civilization up until today, including the Sumerians, the Greeks, and the Mayans, who even had a calendar that predicted every astronomical movement, including every winter solstice up until 2012. Fast forward to modern day era, and then we have space travel. So now that we know that basically every ancient civilization that has existed was curious about the stars, what have we done to reach them? The first practical work on rocket technology happened in the mid-20th century, simultaneously by Germany, Russia, and the United States. During the 1930s and the 1940s, Germany saw the power of rockets as weapons, so they created the V-2 rockets, which go up to 60 miles high and 3,500 miles per hour. That was a first good step, even though it was a weapon of war. The first man-made satellite that was launched into space was the Russian-made Sputnik 1 in 1957. 4 years later, the first man to orbit the Earth was Lieutenant Yuri Gagarin on Vostok 1. The first U.S. satellite to be launched into space was the Explorer 1 in 1958. The first U.S. man to be launched into space was John Glenn in 1962, each of them about 1 year after the Russian events. However, as many of you know, the first men to be on the moon were the Americans. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong took his first step on the moon, and he's famously quoted for saying, "One small step for man, one huge step for mankind." Now that we have a very summarized history of the entire human existence for space travel and astronomy over, we can get onto the real question here. Like, first, why would we even bother with interstellar travel? Well, that's actually where it gets kind of tricky. The human race is considered an intelligent race, and yet at the same time we're destroying our planet, dwindling our resources. We are on the verge of world war and overpopulation. Basically, our future is unclear, so some scientists will look to the stars and leaving out orbital shores and search for a new, healthy planet. At the same time, we need to act like the responsible species that we are and ask if this is an evolutionary step forward. Or will it make us irresponsible for focusing on interstellar travel while we can't even sustain our own planet, and we can barely make it to the moon and back safely? And now that we have those questions in the air, we can actually focus on the real question here. Is interstellar travel possible? Well, first, let's define what interstellar travel means. It literally means manned or unmanned travel between stars or solar systems, and for the sake of this video, let's assume we're talking about manned interstellar travel. Long story short, yes, manned interstellar travel is possible, and it's actually within the realm of possibility within the next century. You see, right now we may not have the exact technologies we need for interstellar travel, but we do have something to look forward to. The rate at which our technology and the whole pool of human knowledge is increasing. It's actually increasing exponentially, and yeah, that's right, you heard me. I said exponential. According to Moore's law, our computer processing power has doubled every 2 years since 1970. Since then, it's actually grown even faster than that. And it's not just computer processing power, it's actually generally accepted for the whole technological field. Also, according to Buckminster Fuller, an American neo-futuristic architect, at around 1900, our whole human knowledge was doubling about every century. At around the end of World War II, it was doubling about every 25 years, and right now it doubles about every year. And in the short future, our whole pool of human knowledge will double approximately every 12 hours. Holy shit. And that's not the only thing we have going for interstellar travel within the next century. In 2012, NASA and DARPA, or the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, actually started a program for it called the 100-Year Starship. Although this is a very good start for interstellar travel, the group can't actually spend any money on the research or the technologies. The goal of the study is to not have the government actually fund the building of the spacecraft, but to foster a 100-year plan for funding the whole project in the future. However, this still doesn't mean that we won't have interstellar travel soon, relative to the human timeline, of course. The most ambitious projects for interstellar travel put it at about 40 to 50 years in the future, which would be freaking cool. Although, moderately and more realistically speaking, scientists hope to have interstellar travel within the next 100 and 200 years. Also, before I finish, there's probably a question nagging a lot of you. How would humans even survive interstellar travel? One of the first ways is if we have a spaceship that can go faster than the speed of light, or it can warp jump. The second is if we live on the spaceship the whole time, kind of like the International Space Station right now. And the third is kind of like a hibernation / cryosleep. And for the sake of this video, we will just call it hibernation. And, well, when you're in hibernation, your metabolism slows about 50 to 70%. So right off the back, you don't have to have as much food or resources to keep the astronauts healthy. Also, when they're sleeping, they don't have to keep mental activities throughout the whole day so they don't go crazy. And also, one more thing with hibernation, we do not need radiation shielding on the whole spaceship. We will only need it on the capsules, which will save both weight and fuel. The only issue with this right now is the muscle weakening throughout the whole process, but scientists are looking at other animals that hibernate, such as bears, and they wake up after 3 or 4 months and they're just as healthy. However, that's all I have for you guys today, so if you like this video, please hit that subscribe button down below. If you have any comments or queries, please leave them down below and let me know what you think. Thank you all for watching, and take care.